Hi, this is Lauren with Folklore Botanical. Today we're going to be talking about seed packages and what all that information means. We'll translate it for you. It's actually fairly simple, but if you haven't done much planting, it might not be easy at first. Here are some of my favorite companies, Botanical Interest. They carry over 600 different variety of plants. A lot of them are organic. They have these lovely packaging, and I actually have people that actually keep the packaging and use it for crafts. I also have Fairy Morse. They've been around since 1856. Baker Creek is another one of my favorites. They have quite a different variety, an unusual variety of plants that you won't find anywhere else. Same for Seed Savers. Again, another one of my favorite companies, Heirloom Non-GMO and USDA Organic as well. So we're going to look at the Botanical Interest package right now. On the front, you're going to see the common name. And on the inside, they'll have a lot more information as well. But you're going to see the common name, and underneath that, you're going to see the botanical name. It's always important to look at the botanical name because different plants have different names. The same plant can have different names in different regions of the world, or even different regions in the United States. So the only way to tell if you have the right plant is by looking at the botanical name, because that name is going to be universal no matter where you live. And then we're going to look at this is an annual, which means you have to plant it year after year. Actually, these will drop seeds on their own, but they don't, without that seed drop, they're not going to come back year after year. So this is considered an annual flower. Needs full sun, and then it gives a nice description on the actual plant. So this one gets 2 to 3 foot tall, and then it explains the color and kind of really pretty picture as well. If you flip this over, this is where a lot of the important information is. So what you're going to see here, the first thing I always look at is right here, this date. This is very important because if you're buying something this year, you want to make sure that your date is dated for 2020. You don't want to be buying old seeds. Obviously, this is from 2013. I've had it for a while. But it wants to be current year. That doesn't mean that 2019 won't germinate, or even 2018. It just depends on the seed and depends on storage. Storage is very important, and we'll talk about that later. So if you go up to here, you're going to see one of the most important things is days to emerge. What that means is the average number of days from sowing the seed to germination. Sometimes the seeds will germinate all at once, and sometimes you'll have a few seeds come up, and then a couple days later, a few more. So don't be discouraged if you only see 1 or 2 come up, because in maybe a day or 2, you'll have some more. And then you're going to look at seed depth and spacing. You're going to scatter and rake in lightly. So this usually means that these need light to germinate. So you don't want to plant them too deep, otherwise they're not going to come up. And this is good for indoor and outdoor, not just outdoor planting. Thinning is very important. Thinning is pretty much how far apart you want them after they've come up from germination. You want to remove any extra seedlings to the recommended number so they can grow and develop. You don't want to have them too close and competing with each other. And then this is going to tell you when to sow outside. So this is going to kind of tell you when you want to plant them. If you start them too soon inside, then you're stuck with these plants that you can't put outside until your last frost date. So this one is recommended 4 to 6 weeks before average last frost, or as soon as soil can be worked, or early to mid-fall for the following spring, which a lot of times I like doing. These are actually recommended not to be planted inside because they don't transplant well. They don't like their roots to be moved around. So this is one that you would just sow outside, just how it says. You don't want to overseed because you're just wasting seed, but then you also don't want to do too little. So following these rules is very helpful. And again, looking at this, right here's a special germination instructions. Needs light to germinate, which I kind of picked up from right as soon as it said scatter and rake in lightly. And keep soil moist always. You don't want it drenching wet, but you want to keep the seed moist until it germinates. And with Botanical Interest, you're going to see if you open it up, I've already cut this. so you could see on the inside, but it gives tons more information. This one has the bloom season, this color, dimensions, hardiness, native, historical information, even about cutting. So this is really good, great information. I tend to read them. And then growing conditions for these. So you want to make sure the seed packs you get are going to work in your garden. So if you look at this one, it's going to have the same information. It's going to have you days to germination, the depth, the spacing. This is great because this one's days to harvest. This is a vegetable plant, so you know how long it's going to take from the day it germinates during the growing season until it's ripe and ready. So this one's 82 days. And this one has a neat little map on it and color coding when you'd want to start your seeds. Again, a lot of these have great information, and they all are going to have the seed depth, the spacing, all the pertinent information for planting. So, happy gardening.